Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to the MakerpenClass Q&A event, my MakerPen build stream. Today we do not have eaten the apple, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do for my intro, but today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a tube tutorial kind of, because I've been getting a lot of questions about how to use tube, and there's awesome creators here that maybe they have different ideas than I do. So we're going to cover tube. If you have any questions about tube, let me know. Alright, so let's get started. Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start with tube. There's so much about tube that we could get into. I guess this would be a good time to actually be on POV for once. Dudeman, have you ever taught tube?
I have not, but you could maybe start by just going down the list of options.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Tube radius, tube height scale, tube facet, tube analog mode, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what that does.
Off the top of my head, tube analog? Oh gosh, I'd have to look at it on my MakerPen. I don't remember anymore.
Ever used it?
I'm sure I've used it. Okay, so we're gonna start off by looking at our MakerPen, and there's a lot of buttons on here. So first, what we want is to go to palette and go to tube or ribbon, but today we're gonna use tube. I'm gonna make mine blue. Alright, now the reason that's the first thing you want to do is because usually if you don't have tube selected and you don't have create selected, you won't see all of the settings for tube. There is a setting that will let you see all the settings, however, it doesn't stay toggled on when switching rooms or saving rooms, I think. I think if you save a room, it toggles back off, unless they fix that. So, Dimon, do you know where that setting is?
Isn't it the little two arrows above the scroll bar on the right side?
Wait, that's a button. It does something?
Right under the show circuit switch. That way.
Show circuits. Hold on. Those are circuits, general settings. Oh, show all settings, yeah. Yep, so show all settings will keep all your settings here. However, unless they've updated it or fixed it or changed it, that does not stay toggled on when saving the room or switching rooms, so you will constantly have to toggle that back on. So it might be easier to just get into the habit of making sure you have your tube selected when trying to use it. Oh gosh, I didn't realize it was gonna open all these drop downs. I thought it was just gonna make it where I can see them. As you can see, there's tons of settings. So I guess let's go over create tool settings first. Okay, create grabbable objects. I have mine on default. You can turn this off or on. So default basically means if you spawn in anything that you think should be grabbable, like if you spawn in a pistol or a marker, then those will be grabbable. But if you spawn in some tube, this will not be grabbable because by default you don't want your shapes grabbable.
Oh, that's green.
Alright. Next we have create shape mode. Mine is on scale. This is better shown with an actual shape though. Alright. So scale means when I spawn it in, it goes up and down. It scales. But if you have the other setting, move, it just spawns wherever you want it to spawn. You can move it around. It doesn't actually change size. And then I think with uniform shapes, does scale work the same way? Okay, yeah. So if you have uniform shapes off, you can actually go ahead and just scale it how you want if you're trying to make it fit a specific spot. I prefer to leave uniform shapes on because of tube. Okay. I'm gonna skip through some of these because there's tons of settings. This alone could take 30 minutes to an hour to go through. Alright, go back to tube. Alright, create tube settings. So, I got questions about, tube facet 4. So I'll get to that in a bit, but we're gonna start with tube radius. So this is pretty much the size of your tube. As you can see, it gets bigger the larger the number. You can even type in a number if you want to. Now, tube height scale is a little bit different. It's a little tricky to get the hang of. I guess this is better shown with. Okay, so this is tube height scale at 0.1%. As you can see, it's flat. It looks like the cube was smushed a bit. But if I put it all the way to 1, you can see it's a bit fuller. Wow, this blue is not a good color for the Q&A. It blends in with everything. Alright. Next. Hi Blaze. Thank you. If you have any questions, right now we're mainly going over tube, but if you have any other questions, let me know. Okay, and then I'm going to put everything all the way up. Tube, facet, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. That's pretty much how many points. So if you put 3, you have a triangle. If you put 4, you have a square. If you put 5, so on and so forth. I don't think you can actually make up your own ones here, unless I missed something. Did you say you can?
You can't.
Oh, you can't. I was gonna say.
Cool though.
Right? I was gonna say, what update did I miss if you can do that? Jeez. Okay. Let me pick a different color. This is all blending in. You know what? We'll do neon blue. That'll work. Alright. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Alright, tube analog mode. This is what you were talking about, man. So what tube analog mode does is, if you have it, okay, so basically, off keeps your tube constantly at the same size, whatever your settings are above. Brush is more noticeable when using ribbon because you can start it at any size, but the second you make it smaller, you can't make it bigger again. And raw lets you have complete control. You can make some of it thinner, some of it thicker. So this is raw. Let me turn off uniform shapes. Uniform shapes also gives you better control because you can go one point at a time instead of everything all at once. But this is raw for tube analog mode, how I have a bunch of control and can make it. And then with tube analog mode off, it just constantly stays at the same size. And I don't know if brush actually works with tube or if this is a ribbon thing, but we'll find out. So it starts out thicker and then I make it thinner. And I can make it thicker, but with ribbon you can't do that. So with ribbon, unless they've changed something. Oh no, my blue, it turned green. Okay. Ribbon. Yeah, I can't make that thicker once I've made it thinner. Oh, I can't. What? Maybe I don't know how this works. Maybe that is only true with uniform shapes on. And then we have smooth tubes, which pretty much just rounds out all your edges. So here's, oh gosh, so many settings. Here's not smooth tubes. And here is smooth tubes. So I don't know if you can see that difference, but it pretty much rounds the edges. There's so many settings we could go over. We can even go over the configure ones where you can change the size of the texture, which isn't very noticeable in this texture. You can change it from smooth to normal. You can use old end cap style, which gives it a different look. I think it reflects light a bit differently. This is typically used for making windows without having to actually use glass. You can even change the facets. I don't know how well this actually works. I don't know how many people actually use this, if they make an entire build and then just change it, but I guess it's cool that you can change it. So again, tons of different settings. Connect nearby tubes. Okay, this is a good one. Let me clean up this area first. Alright. Connect nearby tubes. So, if you don't have it on, usually you would have to try to get these points together to make them look seamless. But with connect nearby tubes, it will actually snap back to it and continue. However, you can't change the size and the color. Like, you can't change the facets and the color. It'll connect and be whatever size, whatever color that it is connecting to. And you can only connect it at the end point. So I started it here and it doesn't connect. But I ended it here and it does connect. Oh, I wanted to spawn in my inventions before I started. That's what it was. I knew I was forgetting something. Alright. So many tube settings. I think I covered most of this. What is clone flip function? Oh, repeat clone. And then there's grid and all the other MakerpenClass settings that I'm not going to be going over at the moment. Right. Dudeman. Should I make something? I don't know. Oh!
Yeah, sure.
Oh gosh, I don't know what to make. I'm gonna spawn in. I'm gonna put the camera back on my actual camera. Alright, and then I'm gonna spawn in some inventions. We'll start there. Tube can be used for anything. It can be used for terrain, for architecture, for... I already said terrain. It can be used for weapons. So let me show you some examples of... Is this old tube? No, those gotta be shapes. Okay, let's not do that one. That's a good one. Oh, this one works.
Both things. You make trees out of it.
Yeah, we're bringing back the boxes! Okay, but we're deleting whatever is not tube.
What happened? Why is it so large?
Oh, you got a tree. We have two different trees. Hold on. So, here's a good example. Good example of tube. Oh my gosh. So these trees, kind of like Lorax trees, those are made with tube. The terrain that you can't see very well is also made out of tube. The rocks are made out of tube. So I want to separate these trees and put them right next to Dukeman's. Just so you can see like how much you can really do with tube, how different you can make things.
Is this supposed to be doing this?
What?
Okay, well I was gonna do the blue one, but maybe I should do the orange one, so it's a little bit more little bit more variety.
I think you gotta reposition the.
Hello.
What's the problem?
You don't see it just.
Is that the Lorax?
They are Lorax trees.
Gun,
They were inspired
wait,
by them.
gun, trigger handle, and projectile launcher.
You make.
All mixed up.
I made it with tube.
Did you?
You can make tons of things with tube.
Oh, I gotta watch your live stream.
Slow down the trigger.
You can, or you can ask questions here.
Connect it.
No, there is no trigger volume.
I'm gonna put this to the side.
Trigger handle.
No, I scale it down.
Alright.
Yay. Who commented yay?
So, here's my tree. This is all tube. I will dissect it in a moment to explain how I made it. But, here's my tree. Demon, do you want to leave yours there or do you want to move them forward?
No, I see it. All these individual.
Whichever works.
Let's move them forward.
Well,
Let's see them side by side.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your process was.
So many trees.
comment. Comment.
Led to that happening. There it goes. Now it's back to normal.
There we go. That's awesome.
That only happens like 10 seconds after.
Alright. So, as you can see, so many different trees. You can make them realistic, you can make them cartoonish,
That looks so good.
but yeah. Demon, which tree out of these three do you think costs the most ink?
Just off of the amount of shapes, probably this one.
That one? That's what I was gonna say, but I don't know because
Nothing. Just
this one has a lot of points because it's round. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
thing to note. So each time you create a tube, that is not a tube. Okay, hold on. One moment.
I'm gonna be opening them again sometime.
Each time you create a tube, the ink doesn't go off of size, it goes off of points. So this is a certain amount of ink, and the second you connect another point, you are making it more expensive. However, with rooms too, that's not too much of an issue, but ink is a,
What's that?
oh gosh, what is it? It's a way to measure performance. So you do still have to worry about performance depending on if you want your room published or if you want all devices to be able to handle it. But if you don't care about that too much, then feel free to use all the points you want when you're in rooms too.
Dream,
I got your flower. Let me get my terrain.
well, I mean, you're welcome to.
Come here, terrain.
If you'd like.
Sorry, I stole my terrain.
Other names.
Oh gosh, I'm merging this. What is this? I don't even know what this is. A cow? Oh, I think it's a cow squishmallow.
Just type in the rules for the class plan.
Here is my very tiny cow squishmallow. As you can see, there is some tube, but the only tube here is actually the horns. Everything else is spheres.
Well, I hope you.
And I have no idea how much much ink this costs, but it's probably 2%, 2.5. It's probably a lot of ink actually. Whoa, there's a giant bee.
Don't mess with grandpa. Wait, and hold up. When do y'all
Uh-oh. I
when do y'all
launched
stop
my.
accepting applications for this,
I'm just gonna delete it.
this mess?
Bye.
Alright,
Alright, so on to some terrain.
A few more days.
Yeah,
We can leave the
I
trees
knew.
here. I do want to
That's why I
dissect
said
some
I
of them in a
had to do it
moment.
real quick.
So here is terrain. This is one way to do terrain. Right now I'm gonna only focus on what you can do with tube because there's so many different ways you can go about making whatever it is you're trying to make. Do
Like more circuit-wise inventions.
you play Fortnite?
I am not in. I am not in.
You don't play Fortnite?
But I don't play it.
Then I don't believe you know how to
I mean,
use
I play
that.
it, but
Okay.
Not very often.
I don't believe you know how to use that if you don't play Fortnite. Sorry.
I sometimes play Fortnite. I am not in. I am not in.
Alright. So this is made out of tube. I think there's about 2 or 3 different pieces of tube that were made and cloned and smushed together.
I borrow that gun.
And then there's some rocks.
This is all out of tube.
This is one way to do it. This is very similar to sphere smoothing, if you're familiar with that.
Hold on. Do you like Alma?
There's other
Pearl,
ways
or
to
is
do
that
terrain
Uh,
using
have
shapes,
This is
but
also made out of tube. Can
I
is it
show it?
roast
that's
beef
made
or
out
is
of
it
tube. Is
bubble
it all
tea?
tube?
I prefer you having like
Yeah, it's all tube.
That's insane. Okay, let's get a
Alright.
show
This
of
is-
this.
This is all tube. This is
All tube.
No,
Look at
leave it
that.
there.
Again, so much you can do.
All tube.
All tube.
Alright, so,
That's pretty clean. It's pretty clean.
big question. So, how many exactly?
Not as
if I
clean
was
as my
trying to
dishes.
start a circuit class that I am,
Right.
Well, my
How many
dishes aren't even
student
clean, so I can't say
conventions
much.
would I need?
Now, this
You want to
is
start a CV2
a
class?
bit of an outdated way
It's
to
about
do terrain.
quantity. It's
If you're a
full
beginner, it's
presentation
definitely
to
a good way to
quantity
start.
Will show us, how your ambition
This
of
is
quantity
usually made
increased.
with
Quality will show us.
I guess you
the
can use it with
skill.
tube. This time I decided to use smooth tubes. Usually you don't use smooth tubes, or
Like, what is quality in
I think some people even use cubes for this.
In my
when they're starting
eyes,
out.
like, hopefully
But
can
you
do
base-
some-
What I basically did is kind of spun around in a
It
circle.
really depends on what you're proposing to teach.
Is this all connected? Yeah. I just kind of spun around in a circle and made a
I
design,
guess if you know how to build an admin panel or
and then
some
kind of
custom
filled it
web
in
would probably
till
be
it
good
looks
enough,
like some type of
for,
terrain.
you know,
Usually terrain is
understanding
Can I send
of
you a link to the
used
class
to
on
help
Discord
keep
now?
players within a certain
I know it's
area,
not too
or
deep,
just to
and,
make your map look pretty.
have it,
So I'm gonna
as
scale
part of
this
your
up.
application. I'll review it in July when that process starts.
Making a whole world out here.
Of course, plan does not have to be finalized until after your class has been accepted, you've been through orientation.
I really don't want to have to adjust
Until
this
then,
tube.
Even then, you're allowed to change it up if something doesn't work, So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I'll deal with that later.
I'm just worrying, main part I'm worrying about is the quality of the dimensions.
Alright. Whoa, is that the real Jeff07734? Trees like this can look so nice, but oh my gosh, the ink. How much ink does this cost?
Make sure your invention photo
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot. That's fair. I have a tree similar to that, where I made like the individual like leaves.
I can look at a circuit
By
graph.
Jeff07734.
I can tell
Point-
what's going on.
0.7. So not as
Jeff's
much
here?
as I thought it would.
He was here and then he left, but I think he crashed.
What's up?
Oh, well, he's got to come back.
He's gotta come back, that's what I'm saying. He's gotta see our amazing trees out here.
Hey, Will, can I show you something? I messaged you about that.
Okay.
Yeah. You know.
I'm
the
gonna
set
start
position
dissecting these
reference object
trees.
Space.
Yeah,
Actually, I'll start with the
That's what I said,
terrain, because
right?
I don't know if I actually want to keep the terrain here.
I don't know why it does that. That seems really
Yeah,
stupid to
it's
me.
really annoying. Yeah.
You can turn off,
Alright, the terrain. So, like I said before, it's a bunch of pieces of tube just smushed together.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can find
Totally
all the
makes
different
sense.
shapes. So here's one.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna set it aside.
Create
It
games
is.
and
Uh,
people buy stuff from your map.
that looks like the same one.
Oh, cat!
Yeah.
Is that different?
Would be useful
That
for
looks different. Okay, got two.
visualization.
I think we're looking for one more.
And the rotation.
Or maybe there's only two.
Pretty sure the rotation works fine.
Right.
But set position, set threads, and just kind of
Is that different?
the position instead of like fully transforming the position you input there, like the reference objects.
Did I only use two?
You gotta be stop the imposters.
I think I only used two.
Yeah, every actually don't get 50,000 tokens.
Two, and then the rocks.
If it's a beta, we can already show it.
Why is your body
Yep,
so big?
I only used two. Okay. Then
Don't sell
You
the
see that?
rocks.
Like how?
did you find
How would
Everybody knows me.
get them to
Here's one of my rocks.
Get out of here.
I saw they added the body types, full body. I haven't messed with it at all, but
Oh, they have?
How would they give it to you?
yeah. I think you have to be in bean body to change it.
Then after a week you get it.
Yeah.
See, everybody knows me.
Um,
I would mess with it, but I don't have the
Take the other rock.
menus for this.
bee horns and
I never get any stickers.
there's the other rock.
being a head teacher. What is that shirt?
Imagine not having.
Imagine not being a coach.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I don't
need to be. That's what it sounds like.
Alright, so that train that we saw before,
Oh, okay.
this is all that went into it, was making these two pieces for the grass. Oh no! I lost one of the rocks. I deleted it. And using those rocks and kind of just placing them around. So these 3 pieces right here is all I used. 3 pieces of tube.
I'm getting a I'm working for it. I have bad moderation. I can't.
Alright, I'm going to dissect the tree now. I'm gonna dissect the blue tree.
Go with the joke.
No, I'm trying to fix it, bro. I'm trying to fix it.
Alright, so the tree trunk was made with,
I'm being so nice. I'm being so nice.
I don't know, how many points is this?
I gifted over 70,000.
A hexagon. So this was made with 2 facet 6. That's a little tree trunk. And I can't see. It's so small.
Yeah, you told me about it.
I think the entire tree was made with 2 facet 6.
He said he saw. He said.
Where'd it go? Oh no, I launched it. Okay, it's back.
So I'm being on my A game right now.
Oh, the other thing is you can totally build using your hand, your opposite hand, if you like placing things. I sometimes prefer to do it this way depending on what I'm working with.
But you know, Blue Monster Inc.
I don't know
Very
any
creative.
coding groups or anything.
Right.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't know. Sorry.
That is not me.
Creative clubs work well, right? You know how creative clubs work.
Where's the,
So this right here is what I did, and then I cloned it, scaled the cloned version down,
Yeah, it's like really hard.
and that's how we got the tree.
To get it. Yeah.
Because I just smushed it in
So I am.
to make it
I am
multi-colors.
making. Okay, so Blue Monster Inc. saw my application and they said they were interested in me. And I'm making
This is kind of
of it,
some basics.
and I'm making a project right now, and they told me to make SCP-096 AI. So I made it. And then
Dude, man, do you have anything else you want to share about
my
Tube?
owner was like, hey, I wanna
This
make
is
it
live.
for everybody, so if you need
Huh?
consumables and stuff.
Oh.
So I was like, okay.
Hi,
is there
Kooks.
anything
There,
worth-
Kooks, where are you?
You can get a speed boost. You can kill a player. All right, I make.
Where is
Yeah,
Kooks?
Kooks, where are
Kooks, where are you? You literally,
I want ownership. Sorry, I'm lagging. But then he
Where
was
are
like,
you?
I want
I don't see you here, Kooks. Where you at?
Dude, why am I lagging? Alright.
You know what?
He was like,
I should have messaged you
promote the game for
an
me.
hour before,
Dude, what
so you
else
can
do want?
get here right when it ends.
I'm doing it as a business, like, I made the circus he wanted me to
He's
make.
just
I
gonna
made
steal the
consumables.
map.
And then now he wants ownership. It's like he just.
Okay. I've got one more thing to show. These are some pillars that I've made ages ago. And some more rocks.
I
Okay, I'm gonna show this one.
fully disagree with that because he is. I made the
You're going inside a
Yeah,
box,
that's me.
sorry.
Hi.
And then last night he
So,
got his
do you
firm
know
shirt.
if they would
There you
ever
go.
release
So a lot of
that,
this
the
was
bounce
tube
chip that's like
to make the
hidden
arch of the
in
box,
trigger
so that it was a little different than what's shown. That it
Like,
was
it's like a
tube.
bounce chip that's like hidden in
And now to dissect it.
Because I mean, I use that. In a couple of my stuff. Yeah, there's like a debounce chip.
So these were normal shapes, nothing too special. I'm gonna delete them.
Got lit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Debounce.
what?
What are these holding?
Debounce.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And your
Well, it's like a
random
chip.
integer.
And
Tells you when
that's a lot of
if
spheres
it's
to delete.
playing,
Actually, it's all
puts out execution if it's playing,
Okay, and
and
then
puts out a execution if it's
Oh no, come back.
Oh, I never knew you could
Trigger volume?
This circuit
if you
organization.
edit the trigger volume.
How does the trigger volume play?
It could. But I never knew you could do this stuff. Whoa, that's sick as hell.
Whoa,
Is
no.
it like if it's playing?
Yeah. I've made
Okay.
it a couple times. with,
So
like,
pretty much
a
all this
bounce
here is also
circuit in
tube.
there, but I've had to steal it out, like spawn a trigger volume in.
I'm gonna
and
try
steal
to
that debounce
take off
trigger.
just one of the columns.
Debounce
Are you talking
volume.
the self chip by any chance?
Some guy scammed you. He was the owner of
Oh,
the
it's-
Oh no, well he wasn't a scammer.
I keep slowly moving forward and more away from the platform.
What's the name on the top of the
Make
chip?
a project to get in, and then
Well, I think it's
everyone
interaction
in the
volume.
creative club plays the game.
Oh,
the
I did not
interaction
separate that
volume.
very
Okay,
well.
Let me spawn one in.
Hello.
I'm making this game, and I do everything you asked me to.
I have one question.
Okay, is it related to Tube or MakerpenClass?
My project.
Uh,
And I never
how
considered that we were going to
how are you making that so good?
When we're done with this game, we're gonna
Well, first off,
It's
lots
one
of
with all
practice.
the circuits already inside
But
too.
right now we're going over
fucking lying.
Tube,
You're so loud.
and
So every chip that is here.
these are pretty simple. Sometimes it can look a little complicated, but the secret is I made 1 point and I cloned it in place. Yep, I cloned it in place.
And then there's a chip interaction volume.
Let me make it bigger so it's seen on the screen.
I think, right?
Yeah, that's literally all you do. You just clone it and rotate it slightly, and then you keep going. Now, honestly, the hardest part about this is actually recoloring the right pieces that you want to recolor.
Yeah.
That is the most difficult
I
thing.
have so much trouble with that.
You can cheat a little bit and like raise it above slightly and then recolor that.
Did you see it?
And then put the little toppers on and nobody will know. Nobody will know.
I'm just trying to get the grip.
Yeah.
It could have been a function. So something we added, like
Oh no,
last
come back.
update or one before is functions. When you put down a chip called function definition,
Yes,
it's like a
what's
certain
that?
board. You set the inputs.
Why do the
set
trees
the
have
output,
the
then you put
trees
chip
not
usage,
have no texture?
and then
Why do the trees have what?
there was a chip called call, whatever.
No texture.
No texture.
They don't look like
And it will have the
they look like cardboard.
So they could have
Well-
a function called ebounds somewhere in the room.
One of these
They
are.
look like cardboard.
This is grass, I think. This is a grass material.
Yeah, it's grass.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you, like if you use
Yeah, there's tons of ways. That goes into using materials and mixing materials.
Yeah, well,
Even lighting can
especially
help.
wood grain.
I'm
Wood
gonna
grain
see
is
if I
one of them.
can't
Wood grain. Really? I know a lot of people like use carpet, I think. This one, I think this one's carpet to make it look a little fluffier than what it actually is.
Oh yeah.
That's like a lore tree out there.
blood.
For blood, that also works. I know some people use dirt for blood too because it makes the darker spots, so it's a little bit different. It's not just like
I
straight
use
up brown.
garnet and carpet.
Nice.
Oh yeah. You could use tube also for like the kind of like stuff like this. You could use tube also, but I kind of forgot how you would kind of do it, but it would be kind of smaller,
Smaller.
and then you just do the same like you
Right.
did on here, just rotate it and all that.
Yeah. Honestly, the most difficult part about this is the recoloring. It's so difficult because tube collisions are roundish, so anytime you scale it up, you're like scaling the collision. It gets all funny. It's just part of the Rec Room charm. You just gotta learn how to work with it.
That's so weird.
Dude, I thought it was gonna be really complicated.
There used to be a bug where if you gave it a negative right index,
All right, what else do we have?
the entire
Oh.
flag would choose your wall.
Well, this is a fun thing I think you can still do that someone mentioned that I should show.
Hey, someone want a gun? Here's a gun.
Hold on, let me get all the right settings.
You were setting PC response and putting circuits down for you.
Okay,
I need another photo.
can I grab this? Okay, so you can grab, just like I was showing earlier, and can manipulate it while grabbing. Oh, why is it so twisted?
I did not know that.
What's happening? This may or may not be working right, but that is pretty fun if you really want to work up close. And it's a little difficult to get the right points if you have a lot of points.
No idea.
Yeah.
That was the thing. to do.
Really?
That little kid.
The tube does twist a lot, but that's okay.
Let's go.
So there you go.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Your mic sounds strange.
How does it? Wait, what does the number 4 look like?
And the outfit thing is gonna
Oh.
be fixed in the one after.
Are you in an
Number
echoey
4.
area?
Maybe.
I don't know if you've done that, but like a lot of people have been complaining.
But there we go.
Yeah,
If you guys have
apparently,
any
if you try to
building
fix
questions,
it,
MakerpenClass questions, let me know.
just like error out and you can't.
Anyone here?
I have a
What's your question?
Is it only how to build? I need a tutorial. It's so loud.
Okay, one at a time. Someone, what was your question?
I was heading out though. I was just
Is it only available for VR players?
No, anybody can use MakerpenClass. If you have a phone, if you're on mobile, if you're on PlayStation, Xbox, anybody can have it. If you go to your dorm room, you can find your MakerpenClass in your backpack. Yes, Chris, what is your question?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Oh my god.
One moment, I can't hear you very well.
Like 5.
Okay, what was that, Chris?
There is an advanced mode for the MakerpenClass.
Oh, heck, I gotta get going. Okay. Advanced mode, yes, that is on screen mode, and it is, I think, default now, but it is something you can find in your MakerpenClass settings when you go to tools. But I do need to get going, so I'm gonna end it here. Do you want to show that terrain? That terrain's so nice.
This terrain? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and show it.
How do you make wavy hairstyle?
Wavy hairstyle. It's a great question.
It would look big. It would look
Fighting over the
larger
tube. Yeah, no, that's great. Alright, well,
whole bunch of tube.
It's to grab.
hopefully this helps.
To grab and
There's tons to go over, but I really do need to get going because I've got an event to get to. But thank you so much for hanging out. Hope I answered some questions. Next time we're gonna get back to our normal group project with everyone. Even though this still was kind of a group project, we were helping teach Tube, learning some new things. But yeah, so I'm gonna head out and thanks for the help. Oh, I'm gonna do a quick flyby of everyone's stuff. Where's everybody? Where does things go? Got the circuits.
I stepped in and then told how the kid how to do it.
Got the up house. Alright.